Funny, I'm the supervising official today.
If you've ever had a neighbor who thought rules were weapons, you'll understand this. One phone call nearly shut down my barn. What the caller didn't know was simple and disastrous. She had just reported my property to the very department I run, and everything unraveled from there afterward quickly. I live on the edge of an HOA neighborhood where the pavement turns into gravel and rules start losing their grip. My property predates the HOA by years, which means I share the street, but not their authority. On my land sits a modest livestock barn. Nothing industrial, nothing noisy. Just 4 goats, a few chickens, and 1 old horse named Daisy. The barn was clean, inspected, well-maintained, and quietly loved by neighbors who often stopped to watch the animals. Karen moved into the neighborhood barely 3 months earlier, yet acted like she'd personally approved every nail on the street. She obsessed over mailbox colors, fence heights, trash can angles, and anything else that gave her a sense of control. Neighbors avoided her. HOA board members sighed when her name came up. Rules weren't guidelines to Karen. They were weapons. And when she noticed my barn, something in her snapped. To her, it wasn't a quiet legal structure. It was a challenge, a problem she hadn't created yet, but fully intended to solve, no matter who she bothered. The first time Karen approached me was early Tuesday morning while I was brushing Daisy near the barn. She marched across the property with a clipboard, already irritated before saying a word. She pointed at the barn and declared it violated HOA structural codes. I calmly explained I wasn't part of the HOA. My deed predated it by a decade. She stared at me like I'd spoken another language. According to her, everyone on the street answered to the HOA. When I repeated myself, her tone sharpened. She complained about noise, smell, pests, even the size of my horse. I replied evenly, "That's usually how horses work." She stormed off, promising consequences. Over the next week, Karen escalated from annoyed to obsessed. Complaints appeared daily. One day, my goats were allegedly disruptive. The next, my chickens were a public nuisance. She claimed smells that didn't exist and noises no one heard. She emailed the HOA board so often they stopped responding entirely. Eventually, the HOA president came to my door just to apologize. He admitted she was quoting rules that didn't apply and violations that didn't exist. But Karen wasn't interested in facts. She wanted results. And when the HOA failed to give her what she wanted, she decided to bypass them completely. Karen's next move came quietly. She stopped arguing and started reporting. Multiple complaints were filed with code enforcement, accusing my barn of illegal construction, livestock violations, waste issues, and safety hazards. 2 days later, my work phone buzzed. My assistant could barely contain her laughter as she read the reports aloud. The accusations were detailed, dramatic, and completely false. Policy required an inspection even when the claims were absurd. Since the property involved belonged to me, procedure demanded that I attend as the supervising official. That's when I realized Karen hadn't just escalated the situation, she had officially reported her problem to the very department I run. The next morning, inspectors arrived, and Karen sprinted outside waving papers like a detective on a case. She pointed at me, insisting the barn was a violation. I smiled calmly. "Hello, Karen. I'm also the supervising official today." Her face turned pale, confusion replacing her bravado. The inspectors walked the barn, noting spotless conditions, proper fencing, fresh hay, and no violations. Karen's confidence collapsed in real time. By the end, all 6 of Karen's complaints were dismissed. She received a written warning, a fine, and mandatory compliance training. The barn stayed, and peace returned quietly. Hit like and subscribe button for more HOA Karen stories.